the man behind everything, behind Investor Central Club, behind Stacks.
Yeah, well, Eric, first off, excited to be here. Really passionate about where we've taken ICC and Stacks. Prior to it, working at Amazon, doing my 9 to 5, I would only trade in the mornings, being 22 years old. A couple $100 was a lot to me. And from where I started to try and make my day's income in less than 30 minutes, I started showing that off of my personal Instagram. And people were amazed. They're like, wow, he just made like $300 in like 3 minutes. What is he doing? How can I get in? Or not working an entire 8 to 10 hour shift and you're making that same amount of money in a couple minutes. People were very interested, very intrigued. A few people that reached out and be like, look, like I want to learn from you. I want to see how you trade. I want to figure out your edge, your success. And then from there, I found a lot of traction. I gained almost 20,000 Instagram followers in like 6 months. Like, oh, it's low key, like I went viral. And then from there, I continued to show transparency. I did this every single day. Get into a trade, couple minutes, get in, get out, and after that, I get ready for my 9 to 5. I'll make like a 55% return in a few minutes off of the volatility, off of options. People will be very skeptical. Be like, the stock only moved 2% today. How did you make a 55% return? No one really teaches you about investing or trading or even options for that matter. What they do kind of float around is dividend investing, long-term portfolio, right? And I was all about, oh yeah, I'm going to grow this long-term dividend portfolio. I'm going to create my wealth doing this. And I kid you not, it was like a 3 month period in. I gained about like a 2% return. I got my dividend payment. And after that, the stock dropped like 10%. And I just lost everything. If anything, I lost more than getting anything back. And then I'm seeing all these other people finding a level of success, quote unquote, quick money, but it's consistent quick money rather than me dropping money on equity, waiting for that dividend, waiting for some level of return for the stock price action to go up. And then 3 months in, I'm down like 12%. So that's pretty much the gist of how I got started and how I eventually turned to creating Investor Central Club. And of course, from there, eventually branching out to new ventures, such as our new software Stacks. It is an AI aided software and platform in which many of our users also have found success and edge in to become and stay consistently profitable.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Just so the viewers also know how I ended up getting involved was I was following you on Instagram. I know Kimo from our college days, ultimately noticing how options moved a lot differently than equity. And just like you said, equity still has its own game. There are people who go the extremely long-term route, but there are ways where if you do understand how options move and how the other calculations of options are done, there is profitability to be had. And I do want to thank you throughout the time of you sharing, being transparent throughout Instagram, got me into this, got me involved, and got me involved in the development of Stacks and our Discord as well. One of the things that I always have heard about Kimo is his willingness to help. That's one of the main things I do find a lot of pride in being a part of this Discord and being a part of our community is that when you have a question, I remember one of our students, it was like 3 a.m. and he hit both of us up for a few questions. And within the hour, he had responses at 4 a.m. in the morning. Just because as teachers, both of us live by this, the give a man a fish versus teach a man to fish. Very, very, very big difference. And I think that's something that really does separate ourselves from the other people. Recently, just in December, we launched Stacks and Stacks AI. Could you give us a little bit of the history of Stacks, how long you've been working on it? What exactly is Stacks and how would you describe it?
It took me about 3.5, almost 4 years to establish. I can't tell you how many countless developers I've worked with, and unfortunately, they did not see this through. Of course, until I met Derek, and he was able to get all the details, all the visions that I had that I wanted to launch to the public, because this entire software is built around the edge that I found success in. And when I say success, I don't mean just win a trade, two trades. I mean consistently successful. Find ways where I can have higher probability in terms of taking on trades. Because trading and investing and whatnot, there's no such thing as a free lunch. You still have to put in the work. You get paid pretty much by the decisions you make rather than how long you work. Okay. So if you don't make that right, correct decision, then guess what? You're likely not going to get paid. And from there, you need to have that strong conviction to take on whichever trade it is, XYZ stock, whatever it is. And from there, I learned that there was a great opportunity in terms of how much increase of profit potential I had by using these specific algorithms that we've created with STAX. Now, from there, STAX has been by far one of the highest hit rates and highest potential profit that we can possibly make in terms of having that validation conviction. But in order to be successful in this industry or in this field of work, you need to find that consistency on top of that validation, on top of that conviction, right? And STAX, especially with our new STAX AI scanner, it brings out the best in every trader out there. I kid you not.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And being a part of the Stacks team, what I can say is what it does is it takes the dark pool scans, takes the options and the equity that's being purchased by the large institutions, the people that have money. And what it does is it filters through it for us to see who happens to know something that we probably don't. It's been obvious throughout the time that we've been working together and throughout the time of not only the Discord, but these last few months of Stacks, where the returns are there. The hit rate is quite high, actually at 90% plus. And we got the receipts to back it up. We've got the data. And one of the things that I do want to also point out, you mentioned it before too, is this has been a process, and it's been a lot of trial and error too. What Stacks I do believe represents is that trial and error, the time that you've spent in analyzing, the time that you've spent in putting together this software. Because again, I do remember in the past, one of the reasons that I decided to join the Discord was due to Kimo's transparency. I do see a lot of other programs out there, other people out there that all you'll ever see are the profits. But ultimately, Kimo isn't afraid to show, hey, this trade went south. But because I've managed my risk, because I'm not YOLOing myself into my full portfolio into this, the profits throughout the year are still going to be there. But this was a calculated risk. This was a probability type of trade. And that's ultimately what we are, probability traders. And the thing about stacks that I really think at the end of the day, having the probabilities on your side only greatly increase your chances of that profitability. And that definitely shows. That definitely is something that our users and our Discord members are able to share with the communities. And that's one thing that we hope is that through this time, as we continue to grow, that more and more people start to realize how useful of a tool it is that we've created. Not saying that you got to quit your 9 to 5, but it can help aid that process of living a more fruitful life, being able to provide better for your own family and for your loved ones.
Exactly. Since day one, I found success. I found edge in stacks, which is why we are all very passionate about it. We want to show the world, we want to show you guys how powerful our platform is. So again, thank you, Eric, for your time. Thank you, everybody else.
Sounds good. We'll see you guys at the next one.